the Rams and the Sooners. Oklahoma went 18-13 in somewhat of a debate if they should even be in the tournament. And away we go to start the NCAA tournament.
Well, it doesn't matter what people think. The Sooners are here now, losers of 12 of their last 18. And Lon Kruger told us the keys for tonight, shot selection, especially them trying to get the ball to that young man, Trae Young. They've got to be patient at distributing the ball.
They go inside on the doorstep, and a missed shot quickly in there by Doolittle, and here come the Rams. Terrell's got it right here, the senior, who is first team All-Atlantic 10 for Rhode Island.
And this is an athletic, experienced Rhode Island team. They can drive the ball to the basket. They've got guys who can shoot pretty effectively.
Downton has it. He'll put up a three. Fighting for it is Berry, and he gets the two on the doorstep.
Berry takes up some space inside, doesn't he?
Well, he is an outstanding offensive rebounder, and you see he does it by not getting more than an inch or so off the floor. He's certainly a below-the-basket player, but he's big.
Young with a three right off the bat, and that's how he says hello to the NCAA tournament.
You can literally not give him any room, and if you get close to him, he's just going to keep backing up. You've got to stay with him. Most people try to defend him with size, and that's what Rhode Island is doing. Downton is a big kid, 6'3", with really long arms, but it didn't help that time.
Berry's on top. Rhode Island finished 25-7 with a drive inside by E.C. Matthews. Berry with his second rebound. And the Sooners come up with it. Their conference record in the rugged Big 12 was 8-10. Doolittle the drive, and two Rams await.
Nice patience there by Doolittle. Right now, the Sooners obviously have the height advantage versus this four-guard lineup for Rhode Island. So if you're Lon Kruger and the Sooners, you've got to be patient at the offensive end.
Here's Downton, who averages 10 a game. Off to Terrell, who averages 17. Beautiful three from outside.
Well, he's an outstanding three-point shooter. He's a high-volume, high-percentage guy. That's his 72nd made three of the season. He shoots 42%.
That's a three by the Sooners, and fired up by McGusty and picked up by the Rams. And here comes Terrell.
Oh, what a pass.
It was a beauty, and it was inside and caught by Stanford Robinson.
Terrell with the no-look pass to Robinson, who just continued to run the floor. Beautiful transition basket here for Rhode Island.
A lot of attention being paid to Young, as you might expect. McGusty took it. Go inside. Doolittle again with another chance and another answer.
And that's what Reggie was talking about, the height advantage for Oklahoma on the inside. Robinson's a tough kid, but he's only about 6'4", so Doolittle's got a couple of inches on him. Oklahoma doesn't get a lot of offense from Doolittle. He actually attempts fewer than 3 shots a game.
E.C. Matthews, and back in to senior Andre Berry. With a Sooner rebound inside. The Sooners were last in the NCAA tournament back in 2016. Lost 3 senior starters off that Final Four team. Didn't make it last year. Back in this year, led by Young. And a young team. There's only 1 senior on Oklahoma.
Dan, how about that one-on-one defense there by Downton on Young?
That was fabulous. That was absolutely fabulous. Berry's going to pick up a foul here.
Well, we talked about the star power here in Pittsburgh. It began with Trae Young. Coming up is Marvin Bagley, who is absolutely terrific in every way. Jalen Brunson might be the player of the year in all of college basketball. And a guy who's taken center stage late in this tournament season heading into the NCAAs is Colin Sexton from Alabama.
Well, let's not forget, as a freshman, he dropped 40 points on Minnesota earlier on the year. And then that SEC tournament where he just went crazy to start that tournament.
Yeah, that game where Colin Sexton scored 40 points against Minnesota, they ended the game playing 3-on-5.
Yes, yes.
McGusty is checked out. The other freshman they talk about at Oklahoma is Brady Manick. He's from Hera, Oklahoma. He is in the game. And together with Young are the highest scoring freshman duo in the nation. And they play for Lon Kruger with a great recruiting haul right there. Here come the Rams. They went 15-3 in the Atlantic 10, a program record for regular season victories. Downton with a drive by Manick with a floater.
Doughton plays so under control. He never turns the ball over, doesn't go too fast.
Young with a little handoff, and it would not go in right there by Latin.
See, it's opportunities like that. When Young gets into the paint, the bigs of the Sooners got to be able to finish.
Odoms picks up the foul for OU. On Sunday during the selection show, cameras captured the priceless moment of Danny Hurley's reaction to the announcement of Arizona State and his brother Bobby Hurley getting in the NCAA tournament and getting a bid. And for more on that, let's swing it over to our fourth member, Dana Jacobson. Dana, good afternoon.
Kevin, good afternoon. Yeah, all of that emotion you saw was actually relief from Dan Hurley. As he reminded me yesterday, he's a little brother trying not to let his big brother Bobby down, and that's exactly what he thought he had done when he lost his conference tournament, thought Arizona State was out. Instead, they were in. He was so convinced, though, he actually texted Bob, "I'm sorry." Instead, Bob made the first four. Now, Arizona State lost last night. I'm told Dan watched the game alone. They text all the time, but what was said between the brothers yesterday remains between the brothers.
As it should. The boy accomplished, and I'm sure their dad, their Hall of Fame dad, who is a great high school coach, so proud. We'll talk about Dad Bob here down the road with a scoop inside. Robinson can't hit for the Rams. Here comes Trae Young. Quickly picked up on the defensive side there by Terrell.
And that's a change. Doughton started.
Right.
He played the first 4 minutes, and now Terrell is going to give it a go.
Manick can't hit from outside. That's the freshman we were talking about. Four-star kid who grew up 35 miles from the Norman campus in Oklahoma.
Reggie, Rhode Island plays a man-to-man defense, and they really like to get up and pressure the ball. And that's, I think, going to be a little hard with Trae Young. But I guess once you get here, you've got to do what you do best.
Well, what I like what Coach Hurley has done is Trey Young knocks down his second three. I mean, that's with Doughton right in his grill. You're going to have to change defenders. Already we saw Doughton guarding him as well as Robinson. But you got to give different looks to Trey Young, and you can't give him airspace.
I didn't think Doughton gave him much airspace. That was just an unbelievably quick release.
Good D, better O.
Terrell inside, double. It's claimed in there by Latin, the top rebounder. Down court, quickly Odoms knocked away inside. Robinson got a hand on it. And here comes E.C. Matthews behind the back and the other way for the Rams. Robinson is open. This is a three. And Young once again.
Too quick of a shot there by Robinson.
Three-point shot outside won't go for Christian James. Continuing to fight. Rams come up with it. Down court, Matthews. Into Young, and for two.
Matthews is the guy, you watch Rhode Island on tape, Reggie. He really likes to leak out. And if you let him do that, he just showed you, he's got some clever little moves around the goal.
Another throw, another turnover.
Right idea by Trey Young. He just couldn't execute the pass there. And another fast break opportunity here for the Rhode Island Rams and Doughton.
That's part of the problem for Trae Young. He has a lot of assists, he scores a lot of points, but he turns the ball over an awful lot.
And that's not good against this defense. They are number 3 in turnover margin of Rhode Island. So they're very opportunistic with the spin down low. They try to work it with Odoms. That ties the game at 13.
And that's what Odoms does. He's a slasher type, can score very effectively around the basket. And Barry for Rhode Island, big number 34, is not a shot blocker. So Oklahoma, with their size, ought to be able to score close.
Little pick and roll with Barry. The collision inside with James, and a foul goes on OU. With 13-12 to play here in the first.
That was a very brave things that James did, trying to get in front.
Brave is a good word to use. First round coverage of the NCAA Division I Women's Basketball Championship begins tomorrow at noon on ESPN and the ESPN app. For more information on game times and listings, go to ncaa.com. At the free throw line is Andre Barry, who's from West Hempstead, New York, a senior and a 70% free throw shooter for the Rams.
Yeah, you look at Barry, you wouldn't think, because of his size, this young man has great footwork down low. We've seen the hands, doesn't necessarily jump very high, but he's playing great position down low, Dan, to get those offensive rebounds.
Well, he uses his body very well, and Reggie, he's strictly a below the basket kind of guy, but you mentioned his hands. They're soft hands, they're strong hands. You got to be aware that when he's around.
think if you're Lon Kruger and Dan Hurley, this is a great start for both teams here. Both have gotten their offense going, their stars going, and Trae Young is
20-footer by McGusty is up and in for the Oklahoma
knocks
City.
down the 20-footer.
Cameron McGusty is a sophomore from Katy, Texas. Outside Robinson, Manick is on him. Now they switch on defense. And he's got Terrell. Screen by Berry, pick and roll, and inside for two.
There's those hands on full display there.
Well, that ball just settled into his hands. He didn't catch it as much as the ball just settled into those hands.
So much of that pick and roll anyway is all about rhythm, isn't it, Reg?
It is. And Terrell has good symmetry with Berry, who sets a good screen. That's the most important thing, solid on your screen.
It'd be hard for Berry to set an unsolid screen.
McGusty with a three. Manick inside, can't lasso the ball. And diving, as you see on the turf there, is Stanford Robinson. And a timeout taken by the Rams. Second consecutive NCAA tournament for Rhode Island out of the Atlantic 10. The pick and roll inside, and Berry steamrolls for two. 6 assists, 7 made field goals by the Rams to start things off in a 1-point lead right now for Rhode Island.
Kevin, we mentioned this is an experienced Rhode Island team. They like to attack you with small ball. Over their last 8 games, they've been in a collective shooting slump. So those numbers are really good if you're a Rhode Island fan. You love to see them.
Rhode Island so far from the floor, 7 of 14.
And even though they're undersized, they are beating the bigger Oklahoma Sooners. Points in the paint, a +6 for the Rams.
Garrett missing the three. It's the 10th seed Sooners, the 7th seeded Rams on CBS.
Gerald Terrell off to a hot start here for the Rhode Island Rams. In 3 transition here for Terrell. How about the no-look pass to Robinson, who was just streaking down the middle, and then the give and go to Berry. Nice hands down low. And this is what you want from your senior leadership, that steady influence come tournament time.
Dan, we were talking off the air about Oklahoma and how they can get at the 7th-seeded Rams. You think their size is their advantage?
I think they do have a size advantage, and can they make that work effectively for them? So far, they haven't really done it.
Here comes Trae Young. He's hit a couple threes to begin the game here for Oklahoma.
And Russell is the 3rd defender to be guarding Trae Young in this first half already today.
And a little bit different philosophy. Russell a little bit smaller, but he is a pest on defense.
Doolittle fires it up, Garrett. The rebound. By the way, get ready to tip off over on True TV, Wright State and Tennessee. Long shot won't go. Tipped inside. Claimed by Kadeem Latin. Odoms with the foul as he was sailing in off the left side.
Kevin, that's just what we're talking about. That was in a transition situation, but Odoms is a guy who likes to drive the ball to the basket. And with his size, and he's got excellent size, 6'6", 217 pounds, he needs to attack in there, which he just did. And I think if Oklahoma does that more, they will really have some success.
Cyril Angevine just picked up a foul for Rhode Island. At the free throw line is Odoms. He is a 54% free throw shooter.
The way both of these teams can attack the paint, shoot the three, as simple as free throws, especially come tournament time. This game may very well come down to that charity stripe and who can concentrate the most.
Oklahoma began this season 12-1. They were ranked in college basketball, but they lose 12 of their last 18, 8 of their last 10, and come staggering in just a bit into the NCAA tournament.
Personally, to me, it started at the defensive end. You know, when they were 12-1, they were holding teams to 42% shooting. Nice steal there by Young.
He'll come the other way, trying to get by the defense. Broken up on the play by Russell. Back outside. Odoms thought 3, feeds inside. On the doorstep is Young.
That's the reverse of what usually happens.
Yes.
Somebody driving and giving it to Trae Young. Young has more assists than everybody else on the Oklahoma team combined.
It's amazing.
Well, he's a ball-dominant point guard.
Oh, there's no question.
So I'm not surprised at that.
Russell outside. Garrett with a 3.
Good answer there. Nice answer there by Garrett. Driving kick, collapse the defense. Young late in his rotation out. Garrett knocking down the 3. Nice hustle and defense here by Russell.
The drive inside by Young. That is an offensive foul.
I mean, you could have asked for better defense here by Russell.
Wow, and that's what Russell is. Speed,
Look at this.
quickness. And then
Young picks up his first.
That's a tremendous job by Garrett to come over there and get in position. But that's what Fats Russell does to you. He really pressures the ball defensively. You'd like to take and smack him if you're playing against him.
And so everyone at home, he wants to be called Fats Russell. Just so everyone.
Well, that's what his mom calls him.
Even though he weighs 165 pounds. Oh, the crossover and the feed. Inside he goes. And a ball knocked away inside by Latin.
Well, Fats Russell's energy off the bench here has been huge for Coach Hurley and the Rams. It started at the defensive end, being that pest on Trey Young. But what a pass here. You love to see this from your bigs.
Latin is looking at the replay up on the scoreboard, and he's telling Doug Sermons that wasn't a foul.
Well, he got ball, but he got a lot of wrist as well.
Well, he dropped his arm. When you swing that arm down, you're almost always going to get that call to foul.
Latin picks up his first. At the free throw line is Cyril Langevin, who was born in Guyana, grew up in East Orange, New Jersey. Leads the teams in block shots and rebounding. It is Rhode Island Ram team, number 7 seed. Last season went 25-10. The 11th seed in the tournament last year. The upset number 6, Creighton, you may recall, in the tournament.
Gentlemen, the little things. Free throws.
James and Doolittle and Young. Under 10 to go. Good cut by Young and a 14-footer.
Well, you can't let him split the high screen and roll.
He is 4 of 4 to start things off for OU.
Either trap him hard, get the ball out of his hands, but you can't let him split your defense.
Garrett the drive. A lot of red jerseys in there. Crimson jerseys. Picked up. Here comes Young. Orchestrates. Good feed on the cut and the drive. Shepard.
How about the vision there by Trey Young? Just an orchestrator out here on that fast break. And now the length and the size of the Sooners affecting the smaller Rhode Island Rams players. Here's the split here by Trey Young and the little floater in the paint. And then in transition. Just finding what a move there and a finish.
That's a situation, Reggie, where even though Rhode Island isn't surrounding Trey Young, it appeared to me that all the Rams were looking at him. And so Garrett, who you saw at the end of that replay, never saw Shepard streaking past him, headed for the basket.
Mannequin for Doolittle for OU.
You got to guard Trey Young, but you don't have to watch him all the time.
But you can't help watching him.
Well, I know that.
Good drive, and he finds room, and a deuce right there for Doughton. Doughton averages 10 a game.
What I love about him is he plays so much under control.
Good little drive in here by McNeese.
A lot of contact down low. I'm surprised he didn't get a call there.
He's
looking for the ball.
Oh, look at this.
Knocked away by Manick, picked up by Young.
They're letting him play. I like it.
That's another foul.
Another offensive foul on Trey Young.
2.
And now if you're Lon Kruger, you got a decision to make with 8:35 left in this first half.
2 on Young.
Who initiated the contact here?
Well, the arm goes out, and that's what the referee sees. He sees that arm go out, and he sees Russell falling away. That right arm of Trey Young right there, and Russell does a great job selling it. But that's what Russell is. He's a pesky defensive player. Uses that quickness to really create some problems.
So they've got Odoms and James and McNeese in there for OU. Manick is in. Along with Shepard, that's the Sooner 5. Terrell inside. Oh, beautiful rejection by McNeese. The other way flying. James slammed in. Jordan Shepard.
Well, Shepard with the follow-through, but to me, McNeese is the one who ignited that play with that shot block. I mean, that was reminiscent of Patrick Ewing back in his Georgetown days.
Doughton with a bump and a foul called on Christian James, the junior out of Houston for OU.
I used to see this a lot from my good friend Dan Bonner when he was at Virginia. Block shots like this that ignited the fast break.
Where did you see that? So the big story here is that young man, the top scorer and assist man in all of college basketball. Trae Young has picked up his second personal foul. It came about a minute ago. And he has, from the floor, started 4 of 4. That's what OU is missing.
Well, they've got his offense, but more importantly, if you're Coach Hurley and the Rams, you've done a good job of putting him on the bench with those 2 fouls.
Well, now you've got to stay focused, though. He was the entire defensive focus, and you can't lose that just because he's out of the game.
E.C. Matthews on top. He'll drive into Odom. Knocked away with a beautiful rejection. McNeese.
And this is what we see as a developing story in this game, Kevin. Rhode Island really likes to drive the ball, and they're driving the ball, and Oklahoma is blocking the shots. The Rams have to take the ball inside, draw the defense, and kick it out and hit some jumpers, I think.
And the other way with the drive inside. Missing the shot right there, Russell.
And even though McNeese didn't block that shot, he altered it from Russell.
Manick with a 3. And the other way they come with Matthews.
Numbers.
Watch him, and outside they go. A 3, Terrell. No, Manick has it, and over to Dana. So we'll get to Dana in just a second. Here comes McGusty with a drive by Shepard. He may have been wanting to feel. Let's try Dana again.
Doug Summers is open, though.
Guys, in the Oklahoma huddle, they were talking about upping the defensive intensity, specifically also then on the offensive end, fighting through some of the ball screens as well. And you saw some of the defensive pressure coming up on that shot.
7 to play in the first half.
Oklahoma is not noted as a great defensive team. They beat you by outscoring you.
But they do have great rim protection.
Yes.
And McNeese, and the all-time shot blocker for OU, and Latin.
Yes. Putting it back up and in with a nice stick back there was Robinson. Stanford Robinson, the senior from Landover.
But Barry is the guy that got the first rebound, and it's amazing how much better Rhode Island is on the inside with Barry in the game.
Rhode Island was 14th in the country in mid-February in the coaches poll, the highest season ranking in school history. They've stayed in the top 25 until the end of the regular season. McNeese is inside. He can't get it. Finds his own miss. Back outside they go. McGusty.
Well, nice job there by McGusty. He had a wide open 3 and not settling for that, putting the ball on the deck, getting all the way to the hole.
No shot blockers in the game for Rhode Island. They're playing 4 guards and Barry.
And now it's the Sooners that have taken the lead with points in the paint. Remember early on in this first half, it was all the Rams.
Terrell tries to make the move on Odom.
What a
Trains
move.
one. It's a 2.
I mean, that is just a tough shot there by Terrell.
Well, Rhode Island is a guard-heavy team. They got really got 6 guards on this team. And a veteran team.
And they have to be able to make shots.
McGusty's got it. 5.5 to play in the half here in Pittsburgh. 10 against the 7. The Sooners with McGusty leaning inside. And a foul on the Rams. Monday on CBS, Matt LeBlanc stars in an all-new episode of Man with a Plan. Monday after Kevin Can Wait, only CBS. Kevin Harlan, Dan Bonner in his 33rd NCAA tournament. Hall of Famer Reggie Miller, Danny Jacobson on our sideline, and at the free throw line right now is Cameron McGusty, who is a sophomore for Lon Kruger's team in Norman.
How about Lon Kruger getting ready to roll the dice here, bringing Trae Young back with those 2 fouls. And to me, this is all about coaching and knowing the temperament of your team. You know what guys, when they pick up foul trouble, can stay out of foul trouble and stay on the floor, Dan.
Right, but Young is not going to pick up a foul on the defensive end. That's not the way he plays. Both of his fouls have been offensive fouls, so he's going to have to be careful with that. And you wonder if that is going to restrict his aggressiveness on offense.
You talk to the folks at Rhode Island, they talk about all these seniors, all of them significant. They've won 90 games together over the 4 years, equaling the most ever for a 4-year span. Young knocked it away, but retrieved by Robinson. The shot clock is down to 11.
Well, that easily could have been a 3rd foul there on Young as well. He's got to be careful.
Dalton into McNeese. And the rebound is retrieved inside by Richard Odom.
Again, another close-range shot, but against heavy defensive pressure.
And here's the 4th defender on Young. It's E.C. Matthews.
McNeese, what a great feed on the wing from Odom.
Well, the hockey assist to Trey Young.
Yep.
So much attention being paid to Trae Young and that ball handling. Advance the ball ahead.
And again, Young has hit a couple of threes. He's gone 4 of 4 overall for Oklahoma. 4.5 to go. Terrell into 2. Fouled. McNeese was backpedaling. He may have picked up the foul for the Sooners. Nope, they're going to throw it inside on McGusty.
McNeese is challenging everything in that paint area. I mean, what a plus to have. You talked about, Dan, the Sooners, not a great defensive team, but boy, in terms of protecting that rim.
At the free throw line is Jared Terrell. Weymouth, Massachusetts, number 9 all-time Rams scorer. Started all but one game, leading scorer, best free throw shooter on the team, Dan, at 82% for Rhode Island.
But he's been in a little bit of a shooting slump. In the A-10 tournament, he was only 2 for 20 from 2. And so that basket he made a couple of minutes ago was a key for him.
And overall, 9 of 35. He only averaged 11 when he averages 17 a game for the Rams. Manick inside. He's got McNeese and back out to Manick, who is yet to score and picked up inside by Terrell. Look at his speed. Drive, and they'll take it right to the rack.
Another offensive rebound here for the Rams.
Javine couldn't grab the ball. McGusty comes out of the pack. Young is on the wing, and he's got it. Reaching in, foul, Robinson. So Trae Young with 2 fouls for Oklahoma, the top scorer in the country. The Sooners on top by a couple late first half. Sooners have led by as many as 4. Rhode Island has led by as many as 2. We've talked a lot about Trae Young. He is now 5 3-point hits from the Division I record of 122 set by Davidson's Steph Curry back in 06 and 07. On base, become the first player in Division I history as he throws into McNeese with a drive and a jam and a foul.
McNeese has been spectacular at both ends of the floor. We talked about his defense. Sets the screen. Nice roll, nice hands. And how about the concentration in the finish for the potential and one here for McNeese?
This is a young man who's been playing more and more as the season has gone along. He only started playing basketball when he was a sophomore in high school.
From Kankakee, Illinois, Jamani McNeese.
I think we're in a crucial stretch here for Rhode Island. You sort of feel Oklahoma gaining control of this game with their size in particular.
Long team for sure. Began 12 and 1, then took their hand off the rudder. Shot clock is down to 7. Doughton, open triple. Beautiful rebound inside by the leaping McNeese.
Man's rebound right there by McNeese.
Here comes Young. Gives you a move with every part of his body, and that brought in Doughton with a reach and a foul called on Jeff Doughton, his first.
Doughton, for the most part, has done a nice job staying in front of Trae Young, and that's hard to do, Reggie, without reaching in and trying to grab the ball.
Manick. Robinson quickly on him. Here comes McNeese, who has played well at both ends of the floor. With a spinner right here. Will not go. Manick tries to tap it in once and twice, and it goes.
Again, size. The size of Oklahoma. We've talked so much about Trae Young, but so far in this first half, it's been the size of the Sooners that has so far been decisive.
+6 advantage now because of that size for the Sooners. Points in the paint. 22-16 advantage.
Good point. Here comes Doughton. Langevin and outside Garrett with a 3. Picked up by Young ahead. Early release. McGusty at the other end.
How about Trae Young? As soon as he possessed the basketball to look ahead to find McGusty streaking for an easy lay-in.
9-2 Sooner run. Biggest lead right now of 8. Doughton into Manick with a fake and a feed. Langevin puts it in.
Way to stop the bleeding right there if you're Doughton and the Rams.
Young to McGusty.
Well, Young gets rid of the ball very quickly, not only on a shot, but also on a pass.
Oklahoma just traveled. He sure did. Traveled right there. Coming up on the AT&T at the half. Scores and highlights in the latest NCAA tournament news. All coming up on AT&T. at the half. 1:43 to play here in the first.
Smart move here by Lon Kruger, bringing in Shepard for Young for this last minute 43 here left in this first half. You don't want Young picking up a ticky-tack third foul, Dan.
Young's got 2 fouls, 2 assists, 3 turnovers. In 10 minutes, he is 4 of 4 from the floor.
Big possession here for Rhode Island.
Well, this is not a great shooting team. They're adequate, but they're not a great shooting team. If they're going to score effectively, they've got to be able to get the ball to the basket, and for the most part in this first half, they haven't been able to do it.
Shepard picks up the foul, trying to stay in front of Doughton as he'll go to the line for a 1-and-1.
Rhode Island is shooting 36% from the field so far. From 3, 2 of 9. Oklahoma is 2 of 7 from 3. At the free throw line, Doughton, who is a 72% free throw shooter. He has started 31 of 32 games. Going back to last season, 50 of 51.
They've hurt themselves from the free throw line in this first half.
They have.
Well, so has Oklahoma. That's an offensive foul there on Shepard. Back-to-back calls here.
That's 2 offensive fouls drawn by Fats Russell and his pesky defense.
Look at this.
Quickly moving his feet,
Oh, shot out of a cannon. I love it, Fats. I love it.
He can play soccer with moves like that.
He's gone to my school, the School of Acting. What, Kevin?
You did not finish first in your class, let me tell you.
No, I was on the dean's list.
In the drive inside, Russell gets it to go. He is a freshman from Philadelphia. And will ignite this team under a minute. 4-point game. Moments ago was an 8-point Oklahoma lead. McGusty will dance.
Way too much dribbling here. Way too much dribbling by McGusty.
And that's really knowing the guy you're guarding. Doughton just moved his feet. McGusty coming into this game with only 9 assists on the year, so he's not a guy who's going to pass the ball. Doughton just does a nice job staying in front of him, forcing him to travel.
Well, this potentially could be a nice close to the quarter for Dan Hurley and the Rams here.
Russell takes it himself with a floater. Picked up by Odom. Oklahoma has had 3 consecutive turnovers and 7 total here in the first half.
I think they were trying to go for a quick 2-for-1 here on that quick shot by Russell.
Difference of about 12 seconds. Game clock and shot clock winding down the first half. 10th seeded Oklahoma, 7th seeded Rhode Island. Shot clock is down to 10. Odom Latin with the screen. Shepard with the ball. Outside for McGusty with a foul. That's on Doughton.
That's another foul on Doughton. That's a big call, too.
He's got 2. Both teams have been kind of staggering coming into this NCAA tournament. Rams have lost 3 of their last 5. Sooners have lost also 3 of 5. 2 of their last 3. Here's Shepard at the free throw line for the Sooners. Boy, 3 of 8.
Yeah, neither team shooting the ball well at all from the free throw line. As Reggie pointed out earlier, in this kind of a game, every opportunity is important.
Final seconds. Russell takes the 3, picks it up, picked up inside. It's a 4-point Oklahoma lead going to halftime. Dan Hurley a bit surprised that nothing was called on the fake and the lean and the bump. As he gets the explanation for his 25-7 Rams over to Dana.
Lon, you guys have a 4-point lead right now, but this was a back-and-forth game. You talked about resetting the season. What have you liked what you've seen from your guys?
Well, it's a good battle. You know, guys are battling both ways. We got to finish some things better. Got to stay out a little bit of foul trouble, but dodged a bullet there with fouls.
You guys were able to finally take advantage of your size about midway through the first half. How do you keep that up in the second half?
Well, we got to throw it in there more. You know, I think Jermaine's doing a good job inside. Brady got an offensive board, so we got to keep pounding it in there and getting to the boards a little better.
Thanks. Good luck, Coach.
Lon Kruger has taken 5 different schools to the NCAA tournament. Oklahoma he's taken again. That's into the first half with the scores. Sooners 35, Rams 31. We'll send you to AT&T at the half after this message and a word from your local CBS station. So we begin the second half. Rhode Island 13 field goal tries in the first that went in, 10 of them came in the paint. Barry, he's outside the lane. The big man can't hit with a rebound snared by James.
They've had a tough time shooting the ball, and it's going to be a long second half if they don't start getting it to go down.
Oh, what a friendly bounce there by James.
Christian James puts it down. 36% three-point shooter. Oklahoma, the 10 seed, 18-13 their record, 8-10 in the rugged Big 12, the #1 RPI conference in college basketball. Rhode Island, 15-3 in the Atlantic 10. A drive by Doughton, knocked away McNeese. They call goaltend there.
But McNeese has been very, very active, helping out on the inside. But and Rhode Island, they have struggled to get the ball to the basket. Doughton with those long arms just gets it out there. The ball hits the backboard, and so once it hits the backboard above the rim, you can't touch it.
James to Young, quickly picked up by Doughton.
Good recovery there by Doughton. Going to recover back.
Yeah, he's got those long arms.
First miss by Young today, off balance and in that corner. With a drive by E.C. Matthews. McNeese again protecting the rim.
It's the McNeese effect there at the rim.
Out of speed with this OU team. They go inside, missing is James, and put back up and in.
And that's exactly what Dana was talking about, Kevin. In transition, Oklahoma has been dominant on the backboards. When they miss a shot, they're able to get the rebound before Rhode Island can get back and get set up.
McNeese 7 points, 4 rebounds, 2 on the offensive glass for OU. There's Terrell, 2 of 8 for their leading scorer.
And again, you highlighted his struggles in the Big South tournament, not being able to knock down shots. Here's the drive. But once again, McNeese cleaning up the offensive glass. The size advantage starting to kind of show through here for the Sooners.
I think that's been the dominant theme of this game so far in Rhode Island. And now they find themselves in another key stretch of this game. They have to get something going.
A lot of red around Matthews, but he still gets it to go. E.C. Matthews, 3rd team, Atlantic 10. 3rd team last year. In fact, all 4 years he's been on the all-conference team. McGusty with a 3. Rebound McNeese. Barry knocked it away, and a foul called on the Rams inside. McNeese, who averages 6 points and 5 rebounds, has 7 points and 5 rebounds right now with the whole half to go, basically.
And he's also got 3 blocked shots, Kevin. He has been a huge factor in this game.
Covering the rim. Played at Allen High School, 6'10 junior. Stream live, 24/7 highlights, scores and news. Free across all your connected devices with CBS Sports HQ. Check it out now at cbssportshq.com.
Langevin getting ready to check in here for Barry, trying to put a more active body on McNeese down low to kind of keep him off that offensive glass.
Yeah, that has paid off for OU because they're 13-4 in second chance points right now over Rhode Island. Swing it around. That is a 3-point shot, and down the hatch it goes. Stanford Robinson.
Well, that's a welcome sight here.
Yeah, obviously,
Hurley.
ball's got to start to go down the hatch, because if it doesn't, it could be a long second half.
They're going to go down the hatch. Young. He's got a quick twitch and a quick shot, but that one is off. He's missed 2 in a row to begin the second half. After beginning the game, 4 of 4. James has it. Shot clock down to 6. That's an offensive foul.
McNeese was not set, trying to set that screen on Terrell.
And the way Terrell bounced off the screen, I think, even though I don't see it, that McNeese must have a baseball bat out there that he hit him with.
So between Terrell and Fats Russell, you're saying there's a lot of Denzel Washington acting going on here.
I'm looking here. I don't see where they're majoring in dramatic arts.
With a drive down and picked off inside. McNeese getting his hand on everything today. Here's a nice knock away by Young. And picked up on the play by Matthews and out of bounds. And by the way, over on TNT from Boise, just about ready to tip off. UNC Greensboro against Gonzaga on TNT.
The shot clock never reset because the possession never changed.
Terrell, 3.
Oh, back-to-back threes here now for the Rams, starting to find that offense that was somewhat missing in that first half.
Quickly down the other way. Young feeds off McNeese. McGusty down the lane, surrounded by white jerseys. Tip up and in. Put up and through. Doolittle with the 2.
Everybody went to the ball. Nobody blocked out. Nobody rotated to help. You get in the lane, sometimes that creates great offensive rebounding opportunities, and Oklahoma continues to wear Rhode Island out on the offensive board.
And see what you see right there, wear them out. This is a one-possession game, but it feels like Rhode Island is down double digits.
Yes, absolutely.
It's Terrell. Langevin.
Oh, wow.
Terrell from outside. Kingston, he puts it in. What a 3 to tie.
Kidding me.
And Kevin, he just gave a smile and a wink to our buddy Reggie over here. That may be the highlight of this game for us so far.
Quick foul on Doughton.
35-footer
And then
for Jared Terrell.
There's his dad, Royce. Yeah, my son can hit it from outside. Timeout, we're tied. Adam, thank you very much. You can see that every Division I team in Kansas and West Virginia made it. Syracuse beating Arizona State last night. And Duke is in this tournament for the 23rd consecutive time. Kansas in for the 29th consecutive time. Moments ago, a 3 by Terrell from way outside.
And Kevin, what do you do when you make a 35-foot three-pointer in the NCAA tournament? You turn and you give the eyebrow to Reggie Miller, and when Reggie Miller responds, you get a big smile. That was dynamite.
Rhode Island 3 of 3 on threes over the last 140 of this second half. Young is doubled. Shot clock is at 6. It's Odoms by himself inside. Knocked away. Rhode Island with the D. Here comes Jared Terrell. Cross court.
The defensive pressure has stepped up here for the Rams.
Matthews a miss. McNeese with the rebound. He's got 6.
It has, Reggie, but the key is the ball has started to go in the basket.
Yes, it helps.
Oklahoma with 10 offensive rebounds for this half on 5 missed shots. 5 gone in the second half.
And more importantly, they've kept Trae Young silent here in this second half.
Robinson, Manic.
Oh, too much.
It was a little bit too much.
3 on 1. You've got to convert this. When offense and points are at a premium, this is doing a little bit too much.
You have to take the ball to the basket. Manic is not a shot blocker. Take the ball to the basket. Your other guys are all there. Even if you miss, you can get the offensive rebound. That was a very bad play.
Young with a lot of attention. McNeese is inside. He does not have much attention.
And that's why Trae Young leads the country in assists. He gets so much attention. He sees the court so well. And he waited with that pass until McNeese was wide open.
What I've liked about Young, he has not forced anything. During Big 12 play, I thought he was forcing a lot of shots. But he's letting the defense dictate what's going on here for him.
Terrell with the rebound picked up on the fly by Odoms. Here comes Young to the trailing Manic, and a nice jam and a great break.
What a beautiful pass for his 5th assist by Trae Young. He recognized that Brady was running the floor late as the trailer.
He's 11 assists shy now of the all-time NCAA freshman assist record held by Duke's Bobby Hurley back in the 89-90 season for the Blue Devils. Shot clock here at 7. Terrell by himself. Inside, Langevin.
And that's exactly what Langevin has to do, Kevin. He has got to go after the basketball. When somebody drives and McNeese goes over the block, and he's got to follow the ball, get it off the board, and put it in before McNeese can recover.
Odoms across the lane.
Oh, what a move.
Spinning, Manic. Tapped inside by Robinson, picked up McNeese. New shot clock hit the iron. McNeese outside. Picked up by James. Gets the screen on top, and Young.
Nice recognition here. Let's run some time off the clock. Get the ball back into Young's hands.
Oklahoma is led by 8. Rhode Island is led by as many as 2. Start and stop. Matthews picks up the foul. He picks up the foul, the second on him. Watch live games on your computer, your phone, tablet, or streaming device with NCAA March Madness Live. Watch now at ncaa.com/March Madness or download the app today.
Now Kadeem Latin has to be that inside presence and force that McNeese was here for this starting unit for the Sooners.
Latin is their leading rebounder, leading shot blocker, but McNeese has stolen center stage with his 11 points, 7 rebounds, and 3 blocks.
Well, remember, Latin was on that starting team. Latin with the easy pick and roll. 6 assists now for Young. Latin was on that starting team that went to the Final Four. So he has playoff experience here.
He's got it in his bloodlines. His grandfather, David, played on that terrific Texas Western team back in the late 60s against Rupp in Kentucky. Robinson. Latin comes out. Manick is on him. Outside they go. 3-point shot won't drop for Robinson. Offensive rebound controlled by the Rams and Doubt. Look at Latin going way out there on the guard. Doughton will drive. And reaching in at a couple Sooners. One was James, the other was Odoms. They're going to put it on Rashard Odoms.
That was a really good play by Doughton, recognizing that Latin was that far out on him and taking the ball to the basket, creating a very difficult defensive situation for the Sooners.
When we talked to Dan Hurley, the coach of Rhode Island, he'll tell you that he thinks his MVP this season was the guy at the free throw line, Stanford Robinson. We showed you he and his brother earlier on with the Arizona State Wild Aztecs making it to the round of 68 and then losing last night. The elation, one brother, Dan, showing for his other, Bobby. Their father, Bob, is here, the Hall of Fame high school coach. Here goes Manick. Good feed by Young. He crashes to the floor. 5-on-4 the other way. Terrell. 3 put up. Robinson, no. Langevine inside. Whacked at. Machete Alley inside. Oklahoma all arms and hands. Here comes Young on the side into Manick. Doubled. Sandwich. He's in a torture chamber and finally gets it out. Young 3, no. And picked up by Garrett.
Missed opportunities for the Sooners. Had numbers.
Rhode Island did a great job getting back on defense, and
Manick's had 2 putbacks that he just has not been able to finish at the rim.
How about every time that Rhode Island goes inside, all the slapping at the ball and going inside, those Sooners with a long reach. Shot clock here at 6. Garrett will try to shimmy his way in for a free shot and can't get it. Gets his miss. New shot clock, and the Rams reload.
Kevin, that's exactly what you're talking about. You get inside and you see this forest of guys in red with their arms up, and there's nothing you can do.
Doughton picked up by Trae Young. On the move, tried to get by Terrell and out of bounds and off Oklahoma with a turnover. But Young has been passing all over the place. 6 assists tonight, this afternoon, and he finds the open guy right here. With a nice jam, the follow in Latin for the Sooners. Well, let's see here. Oklahoma is plus 8 points in the paint, plus 7, make it 8 second chance points, plus 7 fast break points, plus 4 bench points. A lot of the passing off the fingertips of Trae Young have been successful here this afternoon, even though he has not hit a second half shot, Reggie. He is 0 of 4.
Yeah, but he's not forcing the issue offensively. He's taking what the defense is giving him. I give a lot of credit for the other Sooners who are doing a good job of finding open spots offensively to be effective.
Rhode Island has missed 7 of the last 8 shots. Matthews got the rolling ball, takes it inside. Good feed, and Langevine could not get it. Now he's surrounded. Another block shot.
Boy, talk about a missed opportunity. That was a dunk that somehow he just missed.
Now the Rams have missed 8 of 9. Young has gone scoreless the last 19 and a half minutes of this game, going back to the first half.
Well, that's 234 blocks for Latin.
Matthews got it. On the Atlantic 10, the Rhode Island Rams, a 7 seed. Langevine in the backpedaling 2.
Well, Latin as well as McNeese, who's on the bench now for the Sooners. They have these Rams second-guessing every time the ball goes into the paint.
Well, you're absolutely right, Reggie. Langevin made that a whole lot harder than
He
it
sure
needed to
did.
be.
Latin bumped and a foul called on top there by Langevin. Monday, Kevin James and Leah Remini deliver the laughs on an all-new Kevin Can Wait. That is Monday right here on CBS. Couple substitutions. There goes the leading scorer off. Jared Terrell averages 17. This afternoon he's got 13, but 4 of 12 from the floor. Young in the first half with the ball, 4 of 4 with a couple threes. Scoreless here in the second. McGusty. Latin. Garrett. Garrett. Outside Matthews. This is for the lead of 3.
Oh, my goodness. You talk about wanting to go dancing. E.C. Matthews. Oh, steal by Fats Russell off of Young.
3.
Don't do it to him like that, Fats.
10-0 run by the Rams. Biggest deficit for Oklahoma, and there is a foul.
And finally, the defense has surfaced here for the Rhode Island Rams.
They called a timeout. No foul. They called the timeout, but on the change of possession, Matthews got it going and nails the triple. And then Fats from outside.
Rhode Island has found their offense, but it's really started at the defensive end. Here's a nice up and under here by Langevin, and then the dancing with the stars by E.C. Matthews. But how about Fats Russell just really stripping the pockets of Trey Young. Back-to-back threes here by the Rams.
So the Rams in the first half went 2 of 10 from 3. In the second half so far, they've gone 5 of 8. Oklahoma has 11 turnovers. Rhode Island 4. With a drive right here by Christian James inside, and he gets 2 out of that break.
Degree of difficulty there by Christian James.
Yeah, very difficult, but I think that's something Oklahoma can do. Remember, Rhode Island does not have great shot blockers on the inside. You need to keep pressure on that defense by attacking it.
So Rhode Island has scored 12 more points above the three-point arc than Oklahoma. Garrett will take it into 3 defenders. With a foul inside, Christian James will pick it up. The junior for the Sooners will be tagged with his 3rd foul.
See if Rhode Island can make some free throws. 4 of 9 for today.
Part of the problem for the Rams has been their bad free throw shooters have been going to the line, but Garrett actually shoots over 70%, so they're hoping for better results this time.
At the free throw line, Jarvis Garrett, a 70% free throw shooter. Senior from Milwaukee. The winner of this game will take on the winner of Duke and Iona. Coming up next on CBS with our approximate tip time, about 2:45 Eastern. Rhode Island is led by 5, up by 4. Oklahoma is led by as many as 8. Rebound there is corralled by Doolittle. Oklahoma 9 misses on their last 10 three-point tries. Inside the rebound, grabbed by Robinson.
Well, Robinson threw that to Langevin, and Langevin wasn't even looking for the ball. They were fortunate to not turn that one over.
How about the small backcourt here between Russell and Garrett?
Russell 3.
Fats game to play, y'all.
165 pounds of them.
Oh, you're being kind. You're being real kind with 165.
Young, long 2, no. Out of bounds and off of OU. Rhode Island is up by 7. 13-2 run by the Rams out of the Atlantic 10. The second half three-point shooting of the Rams has been the story here in this first game from Pittsburgh. Also, the fact that Trae Young of Oklahoma has not scored from the field in over 22 minutes.
And Kevin, you made the point. I think if Oklahoma's going to come back and win this game, Trae Young, who's passed the ball very well, he's got to start putting it in the basket.
And if you're Dan Hurley and Rhode Island Rams, this offense has been a surprise for you. You got to keep this locomotion kind of moving. 8 of 19 from distance, a plus 15 advantage for the Rams from behind the arc.
Well, they've made, as you saw in that summary, they've made 6 3-pointers here in the second half.
And we thought it was going to be the Sooners that were going to be raining threes. It's been the Rams.
Well, there's something to be said for a defense that doesn't give Trae Young threes, makes him assist for 2s.
Matthews with the missed 3. Rebound by Christian Doolittle of the Sooners. Young flying the other way. Knocked away from behind. May have been Doughton who got it, but picked up by McNeese. Inside Young with the fake and the collapse and the foul on Stanford Robinson.
Well, this is really a nice job. Young is taking it right to the basket, and Doughton with those long arms comes from behind. Matthews is standing in front of him. And here's an interesting point. Trae Young came into this game having attempted 266 free throws on the year. This is his first trip to the free throw line.
Look like he's kind of a little sore on that foul right there going up. Walking very gingerly to the free throw line.
And he's an 86% free throw shooter.
So something is not right.
I agree.
Trae Young.
But if one of the things that Rhode Island has been very successful in dealing with Trae Young is they've kept him off the line.
Both teams right now are 5 of 11 from the free throw line.
Terrell back in. Robinson checks out for the Rams. Under 7 to go. The senior Terrell. Barry back in. Outside they go for Russell. Knocked away. Good knock away right there by the diving Odoms. The other way. Trae Young tries to slice and spin and foul.
They called that foul on Russell coming from behind.
First on him.
This is good for Lon Kruger. Not only are you able to score the basketball with no time coming off with Young going to the free throw line, but you can establish your defense at the other end. Trae Young is upset that his ball is even touching the rim here on these free throws.
He's got very high standards, Reggie. Now, Rhode Island cannot get passive. They have to continue to attack.
Young's got 13. He averages 27 a game. Matthews sees an open lane. Outside, 3, Russell.
Oh, man, Russell has been spectacular here in this second half. And 9 points alone from beyond the arc for Russell here in the second half.
3 of 3 beyond the arc, too. Outside here, that's a 3, launched and missed by James. Saved by Doolittle, and the Sooners reload. Young, Doolittle, fouled. Now they're trying to get inside, Dan, and cause a little bit of gambling on the defense of Rhode Island.
Well, I think that's what they have to do. This is really a nice job by Matthews to collapse the defense. And you know, if you're Oklahoma, that should be okay because Russell comes in as a 28% shooter from beyond the arc, but he's looked anything like that in the second half. He's looked like a 78% shooter from beyond the arc.
The Oklahoma Sooners are the 4th highest scoring team in college basketball. They average 85 points a game. But today, as you see, just 56.
That's been the story of their season, Kevin. Early in the year, when the ball was going in the basket, they're scoring a lot of points. They were winning games. When the ball stopped going in the basket in February and March, they stopped winning games.
Isn't the beauty of this tournament, too? You know what you're kind of going to get from your stars, but it's those guys off the bench like Russell tonight that provides a spark for your team.
He certainly is a bundle of energy out there.
Terrell. Flash of defense. Floats inside. Rebound McNeese. And a foul on Terrell.
He got caught up in the air. He was trying to decide whether he's going to shoot it or pass it. And he finally ended up shooting it. That's not a good theory. That's not a good way to be successful. Drives into the lane. And he just held the ball in the air. He's going to try to pass it to the corner and change his mind at the last minute.
And still almost made it.
That's his second.
Well, can the Sooners make free throws down the stretch? They're only down 5 here. The big fella McNeese at the free throw line.
And that will roll in, take a timeout to play Infinity's round-by-round bracket. Each correct pick nets a donation to Coaches versus Cancer. 5:17 in the second half. Duke plays Iona next here in Pittsburgh. Neither team is led by double digits. Sooners led by 8. Rhode Island has been up by as many as 7. 12 lead changes, most of those in the first half. And approaching 5 to play. Russell again.
Oh, what a finish off. What a pass.
How did he contort his body to throw it that far behind him?
Young by Russell with an offhand.
And that's his first field goal in the second half today.
15 for him.
Now if you're the Rams, you really don't need to be in a hurry offensively. If you can run 20 to 25 seconds off this shot clock and get a good look.
Russell takes it in on Doolittle.
See, and now all the defense stayed home because of that previous play where he dished off.
Young will scoop one home. He's got 17.
And nice back-to-back baskets here by Young. See if this can get him going offensively, but they need stops at the other end.
And both the same way. Young has taken the ball to the basket and created for himself.
Fats Russell is gassed here on the weak side. But why not put the ball in his hands? Have him make a play.
Good feed.
Right there.
Cutting inside. Robinson hits the net. With a foul called on Jamani McNeese of Oklahoma. His second for the Sooners. Russell has been key in the second half for the Rams.
And the little guy for the Rhode Island Rams, Fats Russell, has stepped up big time here in the second half. We said a 28% three-point shooters, but he has knocked down 3 of 4. And in addition to that, he's created havoc on defense, made some nice passes on offense, averages a little more than 6 points a game. He's got 13 in this ball game.
And the reason why they call him Fats Russell, because they say he was a chubby baby. I cannot see it looking at his body structure right now.
Isn't everybody a chubby baby?
He was a finalist for Mr. Basketball in the state of Pennsylvania. Let's swing it over to Dana.
Well, guys, I asked the same question. Was he actually fat? So we finally have a picture. We hadn't seen this. Check this out. This was the actual Fats Russell as a baby. That's pretty chubby. I mean, there's an extra chin there. But now there's no baby fat, and he's a water bug on defense. That's what we've been seeing with him today.
He is as quick as a hiccup. There's no doubt. Here comes Young. Outside they go. Long shot. Nope. Odoms will keep it himself.
2 critical misses at the free throw line for Rhode Island.
4-point game. Here's McNeese. Shot clock at 12. Young got the screen. Draws the double. Shot clock at 6. Russell on him. Long 3. Rebound plucked inside by James.
Can I just say how much I hate that rule?
So that another offensive rebound, but a held ball. Robinson very fortunate he didn't get a foul called on him reaching in there.
Young to Doolittle. Doolittle 17-footer. Rebound, and it was a good one inside by Langevin.
So how much does the Rams have left in the tank here? We talked about them looking gassed here down the stretch here. Good timeout here by Dan Hurley.
2 left for the Rams. 2 timeouts for OU. 4-point game. But they come in as a 7th seed, 25-7 record for Coach Dan Hurley, the Atlantic 10 Coach of the Year, and he's relying on a lot of kids, including his terrific freshman out of Philadelphia.
And one factor, Kevin, that we just saw in the game summary, Oklahoma has only committed 4 fouls in this second half, so they can afford to be very aggressive at this stage as long as they don't foul a shooter.
How about defensively? They've put in the bigger James to guard the smaller Fats Russell here.
Oh, thrown away. Loose ball, and it was picked up on the play by Doolittle. Now here comes Young the other way, getting the screen from McNeese. But they got two tailing him every time he's got the ball.
Doing a great job of probing the defense.
Young inside, got it!
He's trying to will his team here.
2-point game.
3 field goals in this second half, all drives by Trae Young.
19 for Young.
And everybody moves away from him because he's passed the ball so effectively.
Russell, lot of arms and hands inside. Coming up with it is Christian James, and here comes Young.
Now this is when he knocks down those big threes.
3 for the lead. Got it! Got it!
You were saying?
He's got 12 of the last 15 points for Oklahoma. Momentum is shifted. You can feel it.
The Rams are tired. We talked about that a minute and a half ago. Do they have enough in the tank?
Matthews the drive, James the defense, and he gets it to go.
See, let's not forget about this Rams team. With all these seniors, they've seen a lot of these type of actions. Here's Young in transition, knocks down the long 3, and Elbert Clark, nice little step through, contact, potential and 1 here.
Christian James picks up his 4th foul. We've had 14 lead changes in this game, most in the first 10 minutes. At the free throw line is Matthews, 75% showing there. 2-point Rhode Island lead.
Well, I don't think Matthews will be out long.
Now you got to extend your defense, and if you're Russell, this is not the time to gamble now versus Trae Young because he's found his rhythm.
3 up. Missing on that shot was Odoms. It's picked up on the play by Doughton.
It's a wide open shot.
Well, it's a wide open shot, but that early in the shot clock with Young as hot as he is, why wouldn't you let Young take a look first?
Good point. Terrell. We're approaching a minute to play. Shot clock is down to 11. Terrell, no. Rebound retrieved by Young. Timeout Oklahoma with the ball and down by 2. You take a look at our reset. Well, if you got the top scorer in college basketball and you're down by 2 and you've got the ball.
Well, the strategy would appear to be obvious. You give that guy the ball.
That way, yes.
Well, you don't give him the ball because the ball will be in his hands.
That's right. That's right.
The key is he going to be selfish and make the play for himself, which he's done in this second half, or they are loading up. The Rams are loading up. Every time he's now starting to take the ball off the dribble, someone from the Sooners is going to have to make a play or a shot.
Yeah, but I think it's got to be an inside shot if somebody else does it.
Young with a Doolittle drive and an offensive foul. Right into Stanford Robinson, who is down. Holding onto the left knee.
And Stanford Robinson is a young man who was named to the A-10 All-Defensive Team, and one of his best skills is taking charges. He took 30 charges on the season, and this is a heck of a charge right there.
It sure is. What a play. I mean, that is gritty and tough. But again, that's what you get with upperclassmen in this tournament. They make plays. They've seen situations just like this. Beautiful play there by Robinson.
Well, the Rhode Island sports information people had a note that given his 30 charges and 68 steals and more than 125 defensive rebounds, that he personally ended over 200 opponent possessions, and that was a key end to an Oklahoma possession right there.
There was Robinson last year against Oregon in the NCAAs with 21 points in 22 minutes for the Rams.
Well, now if you're Coach Kruger, no need to foul here. You're going to get the ball back.
Russell calls a timeout. Clock at 42.8. With the ball, with the lead, Rhode Island. The coach for the Rams, Dan Hurley, has his team in huddle right there, leading by 2 late. Just think of the dad, Bob Hurley, Senior, he watched one son coach Arizona State last night, watching another one coach in the tournament today. Of course, he's been through a lot himself, the Hall of Fame inductee back in 2010.
Actually drove up from Dayton last night to be here in Pittsburgh. A lot of options here for Dan Hurley. We talked about Fats Russell, Terrell, but Dan, you're thinking?
I'm thinking Doughton. Doughton is a guy who doesn't turn the ball over. He plays very well under control. But obviously it's Russell with the ball.
Now here is Jeff Doughton.
He tells everybody to get away.
I like it.
Doolittle's got a couple of inches on him, though.
10 on the shot clock with a 2-point lead. Doughton, Russell for the fire. Short, caught by Doolittle. Off to Young. The bump and the foul. Terrell will draw it. 1-1.
Why? And if you're going to foul, the worst person to foul on the floor is Trae Young. Though he has missed one today.
He's not going to miss another one. But I'm telling you, Reggie, Young pushes the ball so hard, keeps such pressure on the defense by pushing that ball up the court that I think Rhode Island was concerned he was getting to the basket.
He does a lot of stress with his speed.
Absolutely, he just goes.
And this is a good substitution by Coach Hurley, taking out Fats Russell, the smaller defender, and coming back with E.C. Matthews. Now you've got a taller defender on the floor here.
To top.
All right, now if you're Rhode Island, you need to take the last shot.
Yes, absolutely.
Now Rhode Island does have a timeout, but in a tie game, Dan Hurley has elected not to take it.
Doughton for the lead. Put back up.
Oh my goodness.
Just close. Overtime.
And Dan, going back to even AAU basketball, how many times have you done that drill of putbacks where you use the glass? Here's the shot by Doughton.
Robinson just about.
Robinson wish he could have this one back.
Well, watch Robinson. He just runs straight to the basket. Nobody blocks him out. And he didn't really have any choice. He could not have come down with the ball. He had to do exactly what he tried to do. He just didn't get it to go in.
What a smashing way for the NCAA tournament to begin. We're back in Pittsburgh, and this overtime is made possible by Buffalo Wild Wings. Wild game. Oklahoma is led by 8. Rhode Island is led by as many as 7. 7 ties, 14 lead changes. Trae Young, college basketball's #1 scorer as a freshman with 24. He had 2 early fouls, but he's turned it on in here in the second half. McNeese has got 12 and 10, a double-double inside for OU. We've had a couple of guys with 13. Terrell, the leading scorer for the Rams. Russell off the bench with 13 and 10 for Matthews. And we begin from the Atlantic 10, 7 seed Rhode Island, 10 seed Oklahoma from the Big 12, overtime in our first game.
Well, the good thing if you're Lon Kruger and the Sooners, Trae Young has caught wind and fire here late in this second half. So he has a rhythm.
In overtime this season, OU is 1-1. Rhode Island is 1-0.
And no Fats Russell on the floor here for the Rams, who was huge for them in this second half.
The boys spent a lot of gas in that second half. Matthews with a 3. And just hustle, but it's off of Robinson. The officials look. It will be Oklahoma's ball.
Really impressed with the fact that Rhode Island really hit Oklahoma with a Sunday punch there late in the second half. Knocked down those threes, built that lead, but the Sooners battled back.
Winner here will play the winner at Duke and Iona coming up next on CBS. Doolittle.
Taller defender now. Doughton back on Trae Young. This is how they started the game.
Floater by Young. Young grabs his own miss. Back up, and they say the foul before the shot.
At the next level, it would be an and-1. Here, it's 1-1. How about this? The floater in the paint, little teardrop, in and out. And here's Trae Young battling with the bigs to come up with that offensive rebound.
One of the things people don't talk about much with Trae Young is he is a very good rebounder. Now, not a great offensive rebounder, but he's like the third leading defensive rebounder on this team.
4 a game. So you're right. He will collect a lot.
But Langevin just couldn't grab the ball, and so that really cost Rhode Island.
His mom and dad here watching in Pittsburgh this afternoon. Trae's mom and dad, Rayford and Candace. 2-point lead, Oklahoma. Terrell. That's a 3. With a rebound claimed inside by Oklahoma, and Doolittle. It's out to Young. Accelerates behind the back. The feed to Odom. Did we just see that? And off and a foul.
Woo. Trey Young is showing out here. He is showing out here today. In transition, look at this. Behind the back. Now you see it, and then how about the unselfish play here? That's just spectacular.
Great job by his Sooner teammates to run the court.
Yes.
That was a tremendous outlet pass by Jamani McNeese, and that got everything going. Oh, my.
Oklahoma in the last 7 minutes. Young for Lon Kruger has scored the last 13 points for the Sooners. He has scored 16 of the last 19. Terrell just picked up his 4th foul. Odom's at the free throw line is 1 of 3.
Well, he comes in as only a 54% free throw shooter. Well, okay, every time Oklahoma has threatened to pull away, Rhode Island has had a response, so let's see what their response is this time.
And it's always come from the form of that 3-point line.
3-point shot. Robinson missed it all. Russell in, has the ball. Feeds inside. The drive, Langevin.
Langevin has had trouble at times catching the ball, but that time that was a nice fluid motion to catch and attack the basket. Now you got to get a stop.
3, Young. Rebound, Matthews knocked away. Claimed by Robinson.
That's part of that shot selection Kruger was talking about.
Dalton will slash. Rebound inside. Russell. And he got tangled up there. James grabbed by Oklahoma. Tie up. OU's got the ball. 2:56 at OT.
Another really good job by Jamani McNeese creating difficulty for Dalton driving to the basket. Again, it's a close shot, but it's not an easy shot.
Here comes Young. Got the screen. The bump into Russell.
Good D there by Fats Russell. He's right in the grill of Young.
He's got to stay there.
3, Young. McNeese got a hand on it.
See, this is
It's going to be Rhode Island's ball.
Kevin, this is back-to-back 35, 40 footers by Trae Young on back-to-back possessions. Now, we've seen him make plays like this, but for most of this game, he has been trusting his teammates. I don't mind the shots when they're coming in the flow of the offense. But right now, you don't need this with the lead here.
So you're saying that a shot from the NCAA logo might be a little too far.
Russell with a 3. Oh, and it was knocked out of bounds. Looked like Terrell was going to save it. Speaking of Oklahoma threes, they have missed now 14 of their last 16 three-point tries. Oklahoma.
See, if you're Trae Young, I like this high screen and roll that they're running here, but you've got to get something going to the rack to collapse his defense and then make a play.
He has had his best success driving the ball to the basket. He's scored inside.
That's how he got going.
And he's been able to get to the free throw line. So forget about the three-point shot. Get the ball inside, put some pressure on the Rhode Island defense.
James. And the pass is errant, looking for McGusty, who just checked in for the Sooners, and a turnover for Lon Kruger's Oklahoma team.
So 2 missed long threes by Young and a turnover. The last 3 possessions here for the Sooners.
But Reggie, so far their defense, the Sooners I'm talking about now, has held up pretty well. We talked about the fact that they weren't a very good defensive team, but they've been outstanding today in making life difficult for Rhode Island.
Because the Rams are settling for threes.
Matthews, this for the lead of 3.
Finally got one to go. Elbert Clark here. E.C. Matthews coming through here for the Rams.
Young.
Oh, what a pass, and what a block shot.
Rejected inside Langevine. Picked up inside. And Young. Minute and a half to go in overtime. 2 on him. Timeout, Oklahoma. Shot clock will be at 12. 1:32 in OT. Beautiful move right there. Matthews aims, fires, and buries the triple. Overtime between 10th seed Oklahoma, 7th seed Rhode Island. This is just the eye test, but looks like both teams, Reggie, are tired. You mentioned it before for Rhode Island trying to come back from the deficit, take the lead, then hold on to the lead. Oklahoma now looks a little winded too.
Yeah, we talked about the Rams being a little tired and gassed going down the stretch. That was a well timeout there by Trae Young and Kruger here. See if they can get something with shot clock running down, going to the hole.
James will try that. Out of bounds, the defense of the Rams.
And you know who that was? That was our guy, Fats Russell. Reached his hand in there and knocked it away. But since we are under 2 minutes,
they're going to review
in the overtime, they can go take a look at that. So was Russell the last to touch it, or did it bounce off the leg?
Kind of hard from that angle right there. I don't know if Robinson's, it ricocheted off Robinson's knee right there. Here's the overhead.
It was like a pinball, wasn't it? Bouncing off.
That should be the Rams basketball right there.
One body, then another.
Well, Reggie, they called it Rhode Island basketball, and so unless they can see something over there at the table, the officials I'm talking about now, that makes it obvious that the call should be reversed, the call stands. The rule is indisputable video evidence.
But you would agree from that angle up top that the ball goes off Doolittle here.
I would agree that the ball either goes off Doolittle or you can't tell who it goes off, and therefore you ought to go ahead and the call stands. I don't think we need to. I know we're trying to get it right.
James, not Doolittle, James.
I know we're trying to get it right, but unless it's obvious at first glance, the call stands.
Rams
there
basketball.
You go.
Not the end of the world here. You've got to get a stop here.
This is a veteran crew, 25 combined NCAA tournaments among the 3. Sermons, Chiazza, and Covington. Rhode Island the lead in the ball. Doughton.
Matthews is a guy who's hit a couple of big threes.
None bigger than that last possession.
Young is on him. The fake, the drive, the feed, all knocked away. McNeese or James. James will pick it up. He's got 5.
What a beautiful crossover by E.C. Matthews to get into the paint. And look at McNeese comes over to block the shot.
There's James coming from behind, who I think got the foul. But the issue now was that is that Langevine is a 51% free throw shooter. So even though he's got 2, that's not a bad foul. It's better than a dunk.
Oklahoma does have a timeout left.
And Rhode Island too. Langevine.
Would you rather be lucky or good, Dan Bonner?
Well, I'd like to be either one, but that one rattled around. I think that hit every part of the rim before it went in.
Just saw in the background there, Mika Krzyzewski for her Duke team, and her husband to take the floor right after this one.
How big time is that? 50% free throw shooter going to the line in the NCAA tournament in overtime and knocking down 2.
7-0 run. McGusty inside.
And you still do not need a foul. Timeout here, the last timeout for Oklahoma.
Down by 2 with 53.7 to go. With our game reset right there, back in Pittsburgh between 10-seed Oklahoma from the Big 12 and number 7 Rhode Island from the Atlantic 10.
If you're Lon Kruger, the one thing you've got to tell your troops as you break the huddle, remember, no timeouts left. So make or miss. Don't look over to the bench. You've got to get it and go. There's a lot of time left, and especially if it's a miss, don't be surprised as we saw Trae Young knock down that long 3 in transition to put the dagger and go for the win here in Pittsburgh.
So a little full court pressure here by the Sooners, and under 50 seconds to go in overtime.
As you mentioned, Reggie, you don't need to foul here, but I think you need to be aggressive on defense. Obviously, you do need a stop.
It's Matthews, and the shot clock is at 10. Picked up by Odoms. A 3. Bullseye! Big time hit. Here comes Young. It's McGusty. He'll backpedal for 3. No! Langevin inside claims the ball.
How about E.C. Matthews? I mean, the shot clock's running down, and he just rises up and buries a 3. Now, he came into the season as a great three-point shooter with his career numbers. His percentages have been lower this year, but he is a big shot maker, none bigger than that one right there.
What a response by both coaches, my goodness.
But there was nothing wrong with that defense. You've got a guy shooting the 3 with somebody right in his face. A guy who's a 30% three-point shooter on the year, although for his career, as we said, he's much better than that.
Langevin from the free throw line this afternoon, 2 of 4.
You know what's funny is these seniors on this Rhode Island team, they expect this. You know, people need to remember, they're the 7th seed in this. This is not an upset.
If this is a win for them, they're 91st for these seniors. Think of that, 91 wins, which would be the most in a 4-year span in the history of Ram basketball.
That's why I love upperclassmen in this tournament.
And they've got them.
Experience will always reign. It's nice to have these young phenoms, don't get me wrong, but give me experienced players.
12-2 run by Rhode Island. Here comes Young, wiggling, driving, scoring.
Remember, OU has no timeouts.
5-point game.
Got to foul immediately.
Russell is in a straitjacket right there and foul with 11.2.
And Russell's an 80% free throw shooter, but at this point in time, you don't really have enough time, enough seconds left in the game to be able to worry about who you foul.
Russell's been terrific in the second half, in particular for the 7th seed Rhode Island Rams. 13 points for the game, 3 threes, 3 assists, and the small man in big-time basketball coming up big. He's 5'10", he weighs 165 pounds, and he has put his fingerprints all over this game for Rhode Island this afternoon.
He really started in the first half of that second half for Russell.
Well, he got him rolling, and then in the last few minutes here, it's been E.C. Matthews who has sealed the deal.
He had 2 points at halftime. Knocks that in right there. It's 13 in the second half. Here comes Young.
Too much time.
Yep. Inside, McNeese. 5-point game. Russell there. That's it. The Rams advance. Young and the Sooners took him to overtime. But the Atlantic 10 regular season champion Rhode Island Rams will advance. And they'll take on the winner of Iona and Duke coming up next.
They win this ball game while shooting 39% from the field.
Yeah, Reggie, but they made, how many? They made 11 three-point baskets.
That was the big difference.
Dan Hurley, who played his college ball at Seton Hall. He was a 1,000-point scorer, pointing at Dad, who's watching in the stands. Happy dad, happy son. Rhode Island's record now 26-7. There was a debate about the Sooners even being in the tournament. Their season will end at 18-14. And for Trae Young, who led college basketball in scoring and assists, you may have seen the last of him.
Well, Kevin, he personally brought Oklahoma back into the game there. He scored, what, 13 points in a row at one point in the second half.
Rhode Island will advance. Remember, they won last year as the number 11 seed over 6 seed Creighton. So Dana Jacobson.
Coach, congratulations on the win. Let me just start. What did you say to your guys going into overtime? Because it was so close, that missed tip-in by Robinson.
I really didn't have to say a whole lot. You know, this is one tough group of Rams, and you know, they're winners. They've got a championship culture, and it was just 5 more minutes of an exciting game, and we knew we were going to win. You
know, you talked about Trae Young. You said you wanted to limit him to 15. He took 15 in regulation. What can you say about the defensive effort of your team? Amazing
job. The guards, the bigs, getting out in all those ball screens. It was a total team effort, and that's a special player, one of the best players, you know, that I've ever coached against. Congratulations again, Coach. EC, for you, struggling early in this game, but the second half, a very different story, and a couple dagger threes for you. What was going through your mind in that second half?
Just staying in the moment. You know, first half, you know, shots wasn't falling, but we're a resilient team. You know, we've been through this the whole year. Guys were telling me to look for my shot, and I make big shots down the stretch, but it's all credit to my teammates, and, you know, we got a tough win.
The senior leadership is something Coach talks about, and a lot of people around this team. You've been here before. You've won the first round game. What do you need to do going into your second round game to advance from this weekend?
I mean, like I said, we're a resilient team, man. Coach Hurley, you know, we take on the mode of him. You know, we're not scared of anybody, and we say that respectfully. You know, whoever wins this game, you know, we're going to have a game plan, and we're going to be ready when we match up with them.
Congratulations, EC.
Thank you so much. Love you, Mom.
So it is URI with the win over OU for Reggie Miller, Dan Bonner, and Dana Jacobson. Kevin Harlan saying so long in Pittsburgh. We'll be back shortly. Tournament games continue live on TNT, TBS, and True TV. We take you to the Capital One Tournament Central after these messages on CBS.